Resolutions are typically focused on setting personal goals, but our next guest advises a different approach for 2021 and teaching children how to contribute to their communities by helping them set up two buckets of goals, one for themselves and one for others. Author and child care advocate Florence Ann Romano is here with her tips to create family resolutions. Thanks for coming on the show. You have a two bucket list concept for families, the me
Yes.
and the us.
Right. Because I've honestly never really believed in resolutions. I kind of believe in living your life every year, things that you're going to work on yourself, and then things you're going to do for others. So I was thinking, you know what? I think it's a good time to start teaching kids during the new year really about what they're going to do to improve themselves and maybe get stronger at something, better at something. And then also what they're going to do for their communities and for their families. And I think it's important philanthropy wise for kids to understand that it's not about money. It's not about writing a check. It's not about making that necessarily financial impact, but knowing that they can actually do things in their community that can do good. And that when they do participate in that way, it does so much for their heart. And that's only a feeling that they can experience when they've actually done that work.
And talk a little bit more on the importance or why you feel it's important to have those separate lists.
I remember growing up that, everyone was like, oh, I'm going to lose all this weight and I'm going to do this and that. And that's great to put health first. But I always kept thinking so much of that can be unattainable. So what if you decided, you know what, especially in the year that we came out of in 2020, a lot also is still carrying into 21, that we need to be putting others first. There are people that are struggling. Can you go and drop off groceries at someone's house anonymously and leave a little note because you know that they're struggling in your community? Or write letters perhaps to children that are in hospitals or veterans or people in nursing homes. These are all ways to put others first. And if you can have a family meeting about that, about what you're going to do individually for other people, but also what you might be doing as a family for other people, I think that becomes a really good goal for the rest of the year. And you could even put those things up on the refrigerator and you can see what everyone's doing in your household, putting others first, and even emptying the dishwasher for your parents. That's a good thing for kids to
Yes, I
do.
agree.
I'm just talking small stuff that adds up.
So let's get started. I mean, what is that first step? What are some examples of what you're going to put in the me bucket?
The me bucket, I think for parents, especially right now with, oh my gosh, the e-learning and all of that, how are they giving themselves grace? That was honestly my key word in 2020. How are you giving yourselves grace through everything that you're struggling with, everything that you're having to navigate? So for the me bucket for parents, I really want you to think about the things that you did well in 2020. How did you handle the things that were in front of you? And maybe take some of those things that you did well and bring them over into the new year and say, I reimagined something. I figured something out. I took something, lemons and made them into lemonade. I would really concentrate on that as an adult. And then the me bucket for kids, again, they were pushed to their limits this year, or rather last year, with e-learning and being taken away from their village and their friends and their buddies. I would suggest that they also are going to look and think, what did I do well? And how do I want to take those things that I learned and bring them over with me into the new year? So you'll see that I never really like to dwell on the negative. I like to really look at the things that we have taken in terms of like the silver lining and try to make these sacrifices we made into something that could be long lasting and positive.
Yeah, spin that. And then when we talk about the us version, what gets grouped there?
Us, I feel like, is really about the example that you're setting in your family. Parents, your kids are watching you, nannies, caretakers, whatever you're doing, you need to be the example. And we live in a world right now where everything's really emotionally charged. So let's kind of, get back to a little bit of a neutral here. And the one thing I think we can all agree on is that we want to be able to take care of each other. We want to look after each other. We want to live a life in service of others. So start teaching your children that with writing those letters or dropping off those groceries or doing little tasks around the house. You see, you kids, you see your parents going crazy. Maybe you're going to pick up your toys and you're going to maybe, not fight with your siblings as much. Those are little things that you can do on a daily basis that are going to add some positivity to the environment and also just bring things back to a little bit more peace.
A little bit more peace. Florence, these are great ideas. I know another piece of advice you offer in the book is to avoid too many resolutions. So if you want to learn more about that, you can check out windycitynanny.com for more insight into a variety of childcare challenges from Florence. Thanks for joining us.